Let's take a normal
Recording in
deep breath
progress.
And out. Again, a normal deep breath in. And out. Now for Omkar, we will take a normal deep breath in. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guruhu Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Ajyantimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Pushpanjalim Samarpayami Shri Shri Guru Kamal Charanebhyo Namaha. Slowly and gradually we will open our eyes. So the day before yesterday's session was so beautiful. We started with Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Shri Paramatmane Namaha is an indication where we are going down to the Supreme Soul. Where is the Supreme Soul? Somewhere embedded in our chest region, somewhere within us. So Shri Param Atmane Namaha. I bow down to the Supreme Soul, Param Atman. Okay? Because the ultimate goal for studying Bhagavad Gita is to reach out to that source. And then whatever action we are doing, we are somehow or the other in touch with that soul. Those who are not in touch, they will be defeated, they will be defeated externally and internally, both the ways. So our goal is to reach out to that Shri Paramatmane Namaha, because that Paramatman, that ultimate soul, is the one who will bring Shri, prosperity, abundance, internal and external wealth. Is that making sense to everybody? So Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Then we started with Srimad Bhagavad Gita. My God, Gita is a song of whom? Song of Arjuna? Song of Michelle? No. It's the song of the one who is already enlightened. So let's see the song of an enlightened person, Bhagwan Krishna. Okay? So Gita is the song of Lord Krishna, Bhagwan Krishna. What is Bhagwan? Bhagwan again is a Sanskrit word which means the one who is loaded with Bhaga, Aishwarya, prosperity, abundance and wealth. So this is song of the one who is loaded with prosperity, abundance and wealth. So the one who hears the song, Shri follows, the prosperity follows, the happiness follows, the security follows. Making sense to everybody? Then we shifted to the very shlok, the first chapter, Atha Prathamodhyayaha. Atha Prathamodhyaya means now we are going to begin the first chapter. Prathama means the first, and Adhyaya means the chapter. Atha Prathamodhyaya means now we are going to begin the first chapter. The name of the first chapter is Arjuna Viṣhād Yoga. Okay, so the name of this title, the title of this first chapter is Arjuna Viṣhād Yoga. But the title has not been given in the first chapter itself. The first shlokas, before first shlokas, it is somehow at the last. So it is up to the reader to decode what is Viṣhād Yoga and what is Arjuna's Viṣhād Yoga. Is that making sense, Shabnam Didi? Okay, so now we are going to begin the title, the first chapter, which is titled as Arjuna Viṣhād Yoga. Arjuna is the name, Viṣhād is the Greece, and Yoga is yoga. We already know Okay, we know yoga, but still we don't know. The dimension of the yoga is so broad. So how come the grief eventually is coded as, linked as yoga? That is what we are going to study in chapter 1. Making sense to everybody? So let's understand Arjuna Viṣhāda Yoga. Are we all ready? Arjuna Viṣhād Yoga starts with dhṛitarāśhtra uvācha. About Dhritarāśhtra, some of you may know, some of you may not know. Let me brief about him. Dhritarāśhtra, according to me, was a cunning king, right? He was a very cunning, dubious king. Why was he cunning? Because he has this ayam nijaha paro veti. He was filled with discriminating attitude towards his own son and towards the son of his brother. So he was a small-minded king who used to believe that these are my son, māmakāḥ, and these are the son of the Pandus. So Dhritarāśhtra, that cunning king, has to communicate something. Dhritarāśhtra uvācha, what he said. And when cunning has to confess or communicate something, what else can he communicate? He says that, what he says that, dharma-kṣhetre, kuru-kṣhetre, samavetā yuyutsavaḥ, māmakāḥ, pāṇḍavāśhchaiva, kimakurvata sañjaya. He says that, dear Sañjaya. Sañjaya was the chariot. Dhritarāśhtra was the cunning, blind king. Okay, Dhritarāśhtra was the chariot used to give the entire information to him, as in what is happening in the battlefield. So now Dhritarāśhtra, the cunning blind king, sitting at his own premises, is asking Sañjaya. What he asks is, dharma-kṣhetre, kuru-kṣhetre, samavetā yuyutsavaḥ. The warriors who are assembled for the sake of war in the Kaurava, in the Kuru-kṣhetra, and in the field of dharma, kimakurvata, what did they do? Kimakurvata, Sañjaya. Now Sañjaya explains. Is that making sense? We have already discussed, so I'll not be discussing shloka after shloka. Okay, Michelle knows. We have already discussed. Isn't it, Michelle? Michelle is a very good would-be Sanskrit grammarian, future Sanskrit grammarian in the making. A great Sanskrit scholar. In the future to come. In the times to come, not yet. Yeah. So, dharma-kṣhetre, kuru-kṣhetre, samavetā yuyutsavaḥ, māmakāḥ, pāṇḍavāśhchaiva, kimakurvata sañjaya. He's asking that, dear Sañjaya, now tell me, my son and the son of Pandus, what are they doing? So look at his attitude. He has started discriminating in between his son and the son of his own brother. So there is no feeling of universal brotherhood in him. So with this, Sañjaya uvācha. Sañjaya said, what he said? dṛiṣhṭvā tu pāṇḍavānīkaṁ, vyūḍhaṁ duryodhanastadā, āchāryamupasaṅgamya, rājā vachanamabravīt. Rājā Duryodhana vachanamab. Am I audible?
You are now. I think you froze for a little bit.
Yeah. Internet unstable. So, dṛiṣhṭvā tu pāṇḍavānīkaṁ. So, the cunning son of the cunning father, that is Raja Duryodhana, vachanamabravīt, said, to whom? Acharyam, to his professor.
Vachanam.
For what? pāṇḍavānīkaṁ dṛiṣhṭvā. Looking at the vast army of the Pandavas, he said, he communicated. He said, till then it was okay. But why he communicated to his professor looking at the vast army of the Pandavas? Because he was insecure. He was shaken from within. He was not stable. He was filled with the fear of defeat. That is why he rushed towards his professor and he communicated. Is that making sense to everybody? So, dṛiṣhṭvā tu pāṇḍavānīkaṁ, looking at the vast army system of the Pandavas, rājā duryodhanaha vachanamabravīt. Rājā Duryodhan said these words. To whom? Āchāryam, to his professor. So look at the level of the professor, look at the level of the father, and look at the level of the Duryodhana. The Duryodhan and his professor and his father, all three of them are not yogis. They are shaken from within. They are filled with jealousy and insecurities. Making sense to everybody? So he is communicating to his professor. And see, the professors are to be communicated on the knowledge point. But these kind of professors, these cunning disciples are communicating because he is insecure. So we can examine the level that they carry from within. Isn't it, Vani?
Mm-hmm.
So can I move on? See, we have already discussed these shlokas. So say all of you. The next shlokas that we have discussed is Pashyaitam Panduputranam Acharyam Mahatim Chamum vyūḍhaṁ Drupadaputrena Tava Shishyena Dhīmatā. Now he is very putting sarcasm upon his own professor. He's so indisciplined. He's so rude. He says that, dear professor, look at your own disciple, Pandavas. They are all loaded with the great army troops, the great army, strength. They have the great troop. And these son of Draupadi, they are also so brave. So instead of looking at his internal potential, he is focused on external factor, and which brings him in taking position. He's completely shaken, looking at the potential and the power of his enemies. Okay? So is he a yogi? No. So the one who is shaken, the one who is not able to maintain equanimity can never ever be yogi. And those who are not yogi, they can never be victorious. So it is not the resources that makes people successful. It is his own or her own internal wealth and the virtues which makes people successful in all endeavor. Is that making sense? Can I proceed? Shabnam Didi? Then Duryodhana says to his professor, Atra Shura Maheshwasa Bhīmārjuna Samayudhi Yuyuḍhāno Virātaścha Drupadascha Mahārathaha Drashtaketuśchekitānaha Kāshirājascha Vīryavān Purujit Kunti Bhojascha Shaibhyascha Narapungavaha Yudhamanyuscha Vikranta Uttamaujascha Vīryavān Saubhadro Draupadeyascha Sarva eva Maharatha. Now he went on communicating his insecurity to his professor. He says that, oh my God, Sarva eva Maharatha. All of them are Maharathi. All of them are great warriors in the troop of Pandavas. Sarva eva Maharatha. So that is how he started communicating his insecurity, jealousy, small-mindedness to his own professor, Acharya Drona. Can I proceed now? So these 5 shlokas I have already discussed in day before yesterday's session, and then we will move on to the 6th one. Let's get started. All of you have Bhagavad Gita with you? Yeah. So say all of you please, and hi Marina Didi. Nice to see you after such a long time. So say all of you, Asmakam tu.
Us.
Please unmute yourself. Asmakam tu.
Asmakam tu.
Viṣhishtāye.
Vaṣiṣṭāye
Tāni bodha
Tāni bodha
Dṛiṣhṭvā Nāyaka Mama Sainyasya
Sañjartham
Pāṇḍavānīkaṁ Now, after explaining the strength of the Pandavas, Rājā Duryodhana says that Asmakam tu Viṣhishtāye. Dear professor, now I am going to mention those great warriors who belongs to the Kauravas. Okay? He says that Asmakam tu Viṣhishtāye. Asmakam means from our side. Ye Viṣhishta, those who are special. Tam nibodha dṛiṣhṭvā. Dear Dṛiṣhṭvā, dear Acharya, dear professor, you should know them also. Because I have explained about their side and the warriors that they had. Now, you also need to develop familiarity with the great, the great warriors that we have in our side. Asmakam tu Viṣhishtāye. Those who are special warriors in our group. Tan nibodha dṛiṣhṭvā. Dear Dṛiṣhṭvā, dear professor, you should know them also. Nāyaka mama sainyasya. There are many great leaders in mama sainyasya, in my army also. Sañjayartham tan bravīmite. For your reference, now I am going to explain that to you. Okay? That is what Duryodhana says. Now Duryodhana says that there is enough of description about them. I also need to, bring the professor into a notice those special leaders and those special warriors which belongs to the army troop of Kauravas, which belongs to the side of the Kauravas. Is that making sense to everybody? Huh? So say all of you, Asmakam Viṣhishtāye
to Viṣhād
Tāni bodha
Dṛiṣhṭvā Nāyaka
Mama Sainyasya
Mama Sañjaya
Sañjārtham
Pāṇḍavānīkaṁ
Mama Sainyasya Nāyakāh. The leaders of my army troop. Tan bravīmite. I am going to explain about them to you. Because asmakam tu Viṣhishta, those who belongs to, those who are special from my army troop, tan nibodha. It is important that you know them, dear professor. Is that making sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. So who are those warriors who belongs to the side of Kauravas? Now Duryodhana explains. So are we ready to understand? Shabnam Didi?
Yeah.
They are, say all of you, Bhavan, Bhishmascha,
Karnascha
Bhavan, Bhishmascha, Karnascha, Kripascha, Samitinjayah,
Kaprischa Samitinjayah
Ashwathama, Vikarnascha,
Vikarnascha
Kaumadattistathaiva cha, Who are those warriors that belongs to the side of the Duryodhana, the Pandavas? Those warriors are, now Duryodhana is saying, Bhavan. Bhavan means the first warrior is you yourself, dear professor. Bhavan. Bhavan means you yourself. That is Dronacharya. Dronacharya was a great warrior. He was the teacher of Arjuna. He has taught many warriors and trained him to a level that they can fight even with the people not of this planet but of many other planets. So you need to educate yourself about who this Dronacharya was. What was his educational background and how he joined the army troop of Kauravas. So you can educate yourself. This is your homework. You can do the way you want to. Okay? So get yourself educated on Professor Drona, who was slightly money-minded, slightly mean also sometime at time, and obviously belonged to Kauravas. So somehow or the other, his personality was questionable, even though he was a warrior. So get yourself educated upon Professor Drona, who was a very complicated personality. Making sense to everybody? So Duryodhana says, Bhavan, the first great warrior in my army troop is you, Professor Drona. And then Bhishmascha. And the second in the line follow is Bhishma. Bhishma was the Senapati and the great grandfather of Duryodhana. He was belonging to the family tree of Duryodhana, who joined eventually Kauravas, not the Pandavas, even if he had a lot of love and respect for the Pandavas. So get yourself educated about Bhishma also. This is another homework for all of us. Who was Bhishma? What was his basic attribute? And what made him join the troop of Kauravas? This is the matter of research that we have to do. Are we all ready? Is that comprehensible to everybody? Then Karnascha. क्यों जा रहे हो वहां पर? My child is crying. Wait.
I think internet.
Yani?
Chant Along. Come the Marina.
Sorry, I'm back. So, say all of you. Bhavan Bhishmascha Karnascha.
Bhavan Bhishmascha Karnascha.
Karna was another great warrior. He was the brother of Pandavas, but still joined our side of the Kauravas. Why? What was his basic skill? Karna was a great dani. He used to offer a lot of things in charity. He was a great warrior. You know, he was known as Shudra Putra. You know, so we need to educate ourselves upon these warriors. What made him join the troop of the Kauravas? So, Bhavan Bhishmascha Karnascha. Kripascha Samitinjayah. So there is Kripacharya, Maharshi Kripacharya, Samitinjaya. These are the specific names of those great warriors who have joined the side of the Kauravas. In addition to that, Ashwathama and Vikarna-like warriors, Saumadatti-like warriors joined the army troop of Kauravas. Why? This is the matter of research. Okay? that we have to develop, that we have to do. So say all of you, Bhavan Bhishmascha Karnascha.
Bhavan Bhishmascha
Kripascha Samitinjayah.
Kripascha Samitinjayah.
Ashwathama Vikarnascha.
Ashwathama
Saumadattistathaiva cha. So there are Ashwathama, Vikarna, Saumadatti. There are all great warriors. Their names are written in the red letter in the red book of great warriors. They are such a great warriors. It will take years and years to explain about the potential that they carry, each one of them. So that is what Arjuna, Duryodhana is communicating to his professor, that we have the great warriors in our army troop, like you, Bhishma, Karna, Kripācārya, Samitinjaya, Ashwathama, Vikarna and Saumadatti. Okay? Then he says that Anye cha bahavaha shura. Madarte tyakta jivitaah. Nana shastra praharana. Sarve yuddha viṣhāradah. He says that Annecha Bahavaha Shura. In addition to them, there are many other who cannot even be counted, the kind of warriors that we have in Kaurava, with Kaurava. And Sarve Yuddha Viṣhāradah. They are all skilled in the Yuddha, in the intricacies of the war.